What is up, everybody in the YouTubes? In this video, as you can see, we're in this video. We're gonna be playing After Hours, a FNAF fan game focusing on the daycare attendants by Snowy Ray. That's what it says on the itch.io website page for it. And let's get into it. I think I'm gonna go with hold on, let me just adjust a thing or two here. Oh well. I think I'm gonna go with Star. That seems appropriate, doesn't it? Star?
Hey, wake up.
Oh yeah, this... Originally, this fan game didn't have voice acting in it, but now it does.
No sleeping on the job.
I jolt awake, a bright light in my eyes, and someone's hand on my shoulder. Why block it? While I block it out with my arm, Vanessa finally turns off her flashlight and slightly scoffs in annoyance. How long was I asleep at this table? Lowering my arms, I have a small toolbox in front of me, and my phone is resting where I had my head laid down. Its shape is probably imprinted onto my face right now.
Good lord, when was the last time you slept?
Probably a week ago.
Very funny. Just get up and get started. I'll keep quiet if you just do your job, alright?
Yeah, sure.
Alright, get to it.
Vanessa walks off as I stand and stretch, feeling my joints pop when I raise my arms above my head. Deciding not to waste any more time, I pick up my toolbox and phone before heading through the massive doors leading into the daycare. Oh, the big brown wooden doors. The daycare's bright lights and rainbow colors are practically blinding compared to the rest of the Pizzaplex. Or maybe I haven't fully woken up yet. Time to get this over with. I open a panel behind the desk and cringe at the mess of wires on the wall. As much as I wish I could, I couldn't rush through this. I had to deal with each generator one at a time. Whatever, if it means I get to go to sleep sooner, I'll do it. Let's see. 2. This one, I think. 3. And 4 has to be this one. Standing back up, I stretch again, palms on my back as I let out a tired sigh. That is, until I hear a faint sound of what I think are gears and other mechanical bits turning, followed by something landing in the ball pit near the back. I'm pretty sure it's just the daycare attendant. After all, they should be the only other thing in here, and the small stage leading to the room is directly above the ball pit. Not that I know a lot about them. The staff hasn't said much. And since I'm still new around here, I haven't met them yet, nor have I met the other animatronics like the Glamrox or DJ. Most of the robots I've gotten acquainted with have been the staff bots all over the building. I started walking to the ball pit, scanning for signs of movements as I stand on the edge. That is, until... My boy!
Hey there, friend. Oh, I don't remember seeing you around. Are you new here?
Something or someone jumps in front of me, and I suddenly lifted off the ground. And put the desktop audio at max. Before I could answer, I noticed his eyes turned a light blue color, scanning me. I'm stunned into silence, staring at the robot in front of me as he steps out of the ball pit, holding me from underneath my arms as if I weigh nothing. Yeah.
Oh, that's so fun. It's not every day I see a member of staff here. It's pretty empty when all the kids go home, you know.
I can imagine. I'll definitely have to get used to how energetic this guy seems. He finally sets me back down, making sure I'm able to stand on both feet before letting go. Thanks, and yeah, I'm new here. Just finishing up my first week, actually.
Oh, and how's that been? Good, I hope.
Yeah, it's gone pretty smoothly so far. I start walking back to the desk. The tall robot decides to follow me.
By the way, could you tell me your name? My name's Sun, but people come up with all sorts of nicknames like Sunny, Sunray, Sundew. Some of the kids even call me Sundrop, like the candy.
Well, this version of Sundrop doesn't seem as sassy as he does in Help Wanted 2. Oh? Not gonna lie, I thought your name was Sundrop until now.
Oh, that's fine. A lot of people do that. And the name kind of stuck over time, which is fine by me.
Cool. My preferred name is Star, by the way.
Well, it's great to meet you.
I can't help but smile a bit. But duty calls, so I'll make my way to one of the computers on the desk. I can faintly see his face reflecting on the screen as he watches what I'm doing.
What should you need the light off for?
I have to test all the generators in here to make sure they're working. Whoever messed with them last time left them in a mess. So I'll have to do it one at a time. Considering how wordy he's been so far, a short answer tells me something's up. Then again, I just met the guy. I could be overanalyzing. Something wrong?
No, just noticed how tired you look. That's all. I'll be right back. Gonna get something for you.
Alright, see you later, Sonny. Why?
Just something to help carry you through the night. Judging by how many wires and generators you have to deal with, I have a feeling you might be here for a while.
And the other you as well. Fair enough. Sun smiles off before walking off somewhere. And then it's my turn. Yeah, Moondrop is gonna appear in this game as well. I put in the command to turn off the power in the daycare. I think I do a okay impression of Moondrop, but I can't seem to get his laugh down. The music, once playing from the speaker on the ceiling, comes to a halt. Silence blanketing over the massive daycare as the computer screen becomes my only light source. Removing my flashlight from my belt, I turn it on as soon as I start making my way towards the play structures, since that's where the generators are located, for some reason. It's eerily quiet as I try finding the structures that in the first generator. The lack of true ambiance forces my footsteps to echo. The glowing red light of one generator enters my sight, so I continue on. Somewhere above me, I hear gears turning. I shine my flashlight towards the ceiling, only to see nothing there. Sun? Yeah, that little gremlin laugh. I flinch at the noise, frantically shining my light to see what's there. That didn't sound like Sun. Sun? Are you there? I drop my flashlight and I'm sitting on the ground after stumbling back from being startled. In front of me is a robot I've seen on the Moondrop posters, giggling hysterically. He seems proud of himself. I sigh, picking up my flashlight, and get back to continue what I was doing. Well, if I wasn't awake before, I definitely am now. He finally stops laughing after I say that. He makes a noise that sounds like he's clearing his throat before he starts to follow me.
Sorry for the scare. I couldn't help myself.
That's a pretty spot-on impression, I would say. Sure. I take the first path to the play structures I see, hoping to find the rest of the generators sooner rather than later.
You're going the wrong way.
Am I? I turn around and he has his arms crossed as he leans against the structure.
Yeah, I could lead you to the generator if that would make you feel better.
I think about it for a second. If this guy's anything like the Sun, hopefully he actually means what he says. Fine. I crawl back out of the structure, and he starts leading me to a different path. He clearly knows his way around, since we find the generator rather easily.
There you go.
He sits beside me as I go to turn it on. His glowing red eyes watch me as I do my job. Maybe it's just me, but don't you think those red eyes are kind of intimidating for a daycare attendant?
Yes, I've been told that before. It was a bug that made them look like this. But that's been resolved. The red eyes stuck, but they're not hurting anyone.
I suppose not. Fair enough. The red does look kind of cool with the blue and white.
Why, thank you.
I roll my eyes and a faint smile on my face. And these two are so sassy. Both Sun and Moon are. Now that I think about it, I never told you my name, did I?
I already know.
Oh, did Sun tell you?
In a way, we're technically the same.
What does that mean?
We are the same body. I mean, Sonny can still see and hear everything that's going on as we speak.
So he wasn't in on the prank too?
No, he still would treat me for it.
He would. Serves you right.
I was just messing with you. But if you want, I won't do it again. For now.
Don't. Moon laughs a bit, leaning back against the wall of the structure.
I do think you should continue with that job of yours, though.
Right on it. Focusing back on the generator, I flip the switch and watch as the red light on the device turns green. Well, that looks like that works. I flip it on again, making my way back to the structure. I hear Moon following close behind. Standing up straight, I attach my flashlight to my belt before stretching my arms above my head. I sigh, arms dropping back to my side. As As I go to turn on the lights from the desk, I hear the lights turn back on and the music on the daycare starts playing as I turn around and flinch at the sight of Sun already standing there, smiling brightly.
Hello again.
Sunny boy! Hey, so you two just switch out whenever you need to?
No, it depends on whether the lights are on or not. I'm in charge when the lights are on, and Moody's in charge when they're off. I still don't like that he decided to scare you, though.
Weirdly enough, the sight of him irritated with his arms crossed is weirdly endearing. Yeah, it kinda is. Hey, don't worry about that. I'm over it. Sun just pouts, turning his head away from me. I smile at the sight. Why do they keep the generator in here anyway? Don't you think it would be kind of dangerous to keep the generators in the place kids would be playing in?
Oh, well, that's just a temporary thing. They've kind of been out of commission, so thankfully they couldn't hurt anyone anyway.
And when exactly are these things getting moved? Sun looks like he's about to respond, but goes silent for a moment. I can literally hear the gears turning in his head. He shrugs. He just shrugs. Well, isn't that reassuring? I turn back to the desk so I can keep track of the progress, and a short checklist to keep track of how each generator is working. I started looking around for a pen, then Sun sticks his hand in front of my face, holding one with a cute little dinosaur on the cap. That is pretty cute. Kinda looks like Mariah Elizabeth's little dinosaur. I think his name is dang it, what was his name again? No, I think Georgie is the duck. Yeah, I don't remember what Mariah Elizabeth's little dinosaur is called. Hold on, let me look it up real quick. Oh, I just looked it up and the dinosaur's name is Pickle. That's cute. Here you go. I smile at the gesture from the jester. Taking the pen so I can mark my progress. Thanks. Alright, here we go again. I go back to the cables, sighing at the tangled mess I have to deal with. Let's see, one. It's this one. 2. This one. 3. And 4 is this one. I stand up and take a look at my work. Time to do it all again, I guess. I go turn off the light again. I hear music blasting from somewhere else, which is weird since usually the radio is off when the pizza plex is closed for the night. Any idea what the music is?
That's the DJ. Oh, he makes his own music, so it's not out of the ordinary to hear it during the night when everyone's gone home. I'd love to be friends with him, but I'm too busy to leave this place most of the time.
Really?
Yep.
When was the last time you left this place?
Okay, well, technically I've never left.
Well, Moon has.
But every hour when the power gets rerouted, Mooney goes on patrol around the pizza place to make sure we don't get any intruders.
Yeah, I knew that. I know about security breach.
He says the DJ makes for good company.
And Freddy likes him too. Freddy likes DJ Music Man as well, I mean. I rub my eyes, feeling my lack of sleep catching up with me again. The stress of my new job is really taking a toll on my sleep schedule, I think. Why do they need Moon to patrol the place? Isn't that what the staff bots are for?
The staff bots help alert Moon to anything or anyone that shouldn't be there.
And don't the other Glamrocks do that as well? I mean, don't the staff bots alert the Glamrocks as well? I let out a yawn as I go back to the computer. That's cool. Switching the lights off, the daycare once again descends into mostly silence. I hear gears whirring behind me as Moon hums slightly. Excuse me. Oh boy, what gave that away? Hold on. I gotta get my bird out of the cage first. He's screaming his head off. I'll be right back. And now my pet bird has free reign of the place. Anyway. Oh boy, what gave that away?
You look like you're going to pass out.
I wish I could. I hear Moon step away for a minute. Yawning again, I take my flashlight off my belt as I start to approach the play structure, stopping once I'm a few feet away from the desk. I wait for Moon to come back, since I have a feeling I'll get lost if he doesn't help me finding the other generators. Hearing the sound of gears whirring above me, I point my flashlight towards the ceiling. He's easier to find this time, probably because he's not trying to startle me again. He lowers himself to the floor, a long cable hooked onto his back from the ceiling. So that's how he flies around this place. There you are.
Here, take this.
He holds out an already opened can of soda for me to take. Grape-flavored fizzy fizz, to be specific. You'll drink fizzy fizz until our heads explode and stay up all night! To quote Sundrop from Security Breach. Thanks.
No problem. Sonny meant to get it for you earlier. But I had something different in mind.
He has a smug grin on his face. Yeah, you decided to scare me half to death. I roll my eyes as I take a long sip of the carbonated heart attack in the can.
Come on. Little.
Checking the watch on my other hand. I can see it's already nearing 1 in the morning. For the hour I spent awake, I've gotten surprisingly little done. Great. You want to help with the other generators or what? Moon's expression didn't change. He just stares at me for the moment before speaking.
You look exhausted.
I am exhausted.
Shouldn't you take a break then?
I take another sip of soda, raising an eyebrow. And do what?
Well, I have my hourly patrol to take care of. You could always handle it.
You know what? Yeah, sure. Just as long as Vanessa doesn't see me, I guess. Moon's smile grew ever so slightly at my statement. It seems to be more of a genuine smile than his gremlin look from earlier. He is a gremlin, isn't he?
I doubt that'll happen. The pizza box is a big place, so the chances of her running into us are rather small.
Yeah, I guess the Pizzaplex is pretty big. I know, but still.
Trust me, it won't happen. Besides, you need to take it easy for a while. You look like you're ready to pass out.
I love to, but if I didn't have to do a job. The cable still attached to his back. Moon hovers ever so slightly towards the ground before approaching me.
Not right now, you don't.
Without another word, Moon wraps his arms around my torso before the cable lifts him up, at least 40 feet above the ground. Holy! I panicked as I cling onto him as I stare at the ground but far beneath us. Moon doesn't seem to react, simply navigating through the air, carrying me with him.
Don't worry. I won't drop you.
You better not. Moon clearly knows his place like the back of his hand, because it only takes around a few minutes for us to reach the atrium, with the giant holograms of the Glamrock still active despite the Pizzaplex being closed for the night. We pass over a few security bots who pay us no mind. Occasionally one will look up at us and then continue on with the same blank expression as every other bot. Eventually I got used to being so high off the ground, Moon says nothing as he scans the area for intruders, thankfully seeing nothing out of the ordinary. Moon lands on the railing on the 3rd floor of the atrium, likely to change direction and head somewhere else. That is, until an alarm starts blaring from one of his speakers, and he suddenly turns to look in a different direction. Hopping off the railing, Moon sets me down before hovering off the ground again.
Stay here. Let the staff bots alerted me to an intruder.
Before I could get another word in, Moon leaves, pushing off the railing to give himself a boost as he flies off. Sighing, I look up when I see another staff bot looking at me, seemingly confused. Just guessing by the way it stops and tilts its head when it sees me. It's hard to tell what these guys are thinking when they basically can't emote. Same thing with Sun and Moon, but you can probably tell with Sun and Moon because of how they express themselves with their hand gestures and vocal ranges. If you tell Vanessa, you tell me if Vanessa's nearby, right? The bot stares. I stare back. I nod in understanding before going to sit in one of the booths at El Chips. Staring at the menu on the other side of the small restaurant, I remember something important. I haven't eaten anything since, this morning? I think I'm gonna have a Pop-Tart after this. I like Pop-Tarts. Y'all like Pop-Tarts? Oh boy, I might go into Mr. Hippo style rant about Pop-Tarts. Maybe that's also why I feel so out of it. If only I could inhale the picture of the food on the wall. I'll try the next best thing and search behind the counter for basically anything that's edible. I find an unopened bag of nachos. Good enough. I head back to the booth, opening a bag of chips and eating my makeshift lunch. Peering back into the atrium, the bot isn't there anymore. From where I'm sitting, it looks like the number of staff bots around seems pretty sparse in general. Maybe they're gone to wherever Moon is? Not that I know where he went anyway. I don't think much of it, simply continuing to fuel up on chips while listening to the droning ambience of many bright lights in the atrium. I can feel my ears ringing from the silence. That and the sound of me eating chips alone becomes definitely loud. Maybe I somehow got used to the daycare's nonstop music loop already? It feels strangely empty here without it. The lack of ambience is almost unbearable. Standing up, I throw away the now empty bag of chips. One hand on my head as my vision goes blurry for a moment, as if I stood up too fast. Walking back to the railing, I lean against it, looking down and squeezing my eyes shut as I try to quell this nauseating feeling. When I open them back up, my vision is still fading in and out. Is it just me, or does my vision seem weirdly red? Stumbling back, I look around for one of the staff bots for help, disoriented by whatever's happening to me. But instead of a staff bot, what I vaguely see approaching me from the right is a gray humanoid silhouette, with two bright eyes fixated on me. Intruder. Startled, I make a run for the stairs, hoping there's a staff bot somewhere nearby to find a staff bot. My vision still hasn't fixed itself. In fact, it's getting worse, as I messed up and tumbled down the first short flight of stairs. I force myself back up, using the railings for support before something grabs the back of my shirt. I don't let go of the railing as soon as I look behind me, more clearly seeing the face of the gray rabbit costume with the big red eyes and a gaping black grin. What are you? I can't even hear my own voice. The ringing drowns it out completely, as whoever is successfully dragging me away from the railing and back up the stairs as I try to grab anything I can. Reduced to a rag doll, it gets harder and harder for me to try and escape as I'm dragged back into the chips. I helplessly try to grab onto the tile floor, to no avail. The ringing is overpowered by the sound of my own heart beating in my head at this point. We're nearing the kitchen at the back of the small restaurant, blocked off by a metal door. I'm running out of time. I tried kicking my attacker, but they seemed unfazed, using one of the arms to drag me back. Their other hand wields a large kitchen knife. They're going to kill me. They're going to drag me into the kitchen and kill me. Where's Vanessa? Does she know what's happening? Would she be able to find us? Would I be dead and buried before anyone even knew I was gone? I was barely able to cling on onto the corner of the counter, trying to buy whatever time I can. Call for help. I tried calling for anyone to help me. Unsure if I can be heard as my grip on the counter starts to slip. My attacker has both hands on the back of my shirt and is pulling hard. One of my hands slips from the counter. I can't hang on much longer. I'm gonna die. Moon! Moon, help me, please! My hand slips from the counter and I'm dragged back. I'm practically clawing the floor, but the costumed stranger yanks me back before pushing open the door to the kitchen and throwing me in. There's no light in here, so I'm completely drowned in darkness as I land on the cold floor, save for the small beam of light coming from beyond the door. Looking behind me, I see a bit of light start slipping away from the attacker's silhouette. As the attacker's silhouette starts to merge with the darkness, their red eyes being the only thing I see. Probably the last thing I'll see. The beam of light from the back of the door floods back into the room, and the gray rabbit is nowhere to be seen. My vision finally starts to clear up as I look towards whatever landed nearby. A different pair of red eyes looks back at me and lunges in my direction. I scurry backwards, panicked, until two familiar robotic arms pulling me back out of the kitchen and into the atrium. I can finally see clearly, and the ringing noise is completely replaced by my racing heartbeat. I stare out into nothing, even as I'm carried into the air. Flying back from the atrium to the daycare, Moon's grip is so strong that he's on the verge of crushing my spine. He finally starts to slow down as we pass over the daycare wall, the once eerie silence hanging over us. He makes a smooth landing on the floor, the cable on his back unhooking and retreating back to the ceiling as I'm placed on the ground. He doesn't let go, though. It almost feels like his arms are shaking. Or maybe that's me. I can't see his face. He's slouched in a way where his head is almost resting on his shoulder, and he's staring at the floor. His arms finally loosen as he lets out a relieved sigh before letting go of me. I myself can't find the words for what happened. Whenever I open my mouth to speak, my mind completely blanks. Instead, I drop to the floor. My fight or flight is still kicked in, and my hands are shaking uncontrollably. Moon's expression darkened slightly. Did he want to say something? His faceplate turns slightly as he walks over to something on the floor a few yards away. He silently picks it up and returns it to me. My flashlight. I'm pretty sure I can still hear his fans revving up, and he looks at me in deepened thought. He sits down in front of me, resting his faceplate in the palm of his hand.
Did she hurt you at all?
I fidget with the flashlight a bit. Battery's dead. Almost.
I'm sorry for not being sooner.
It's fine.
You could have died.
Well, I didn't. You still showed up quickly enough so that didn't happen, so... Why do you care so much anyway? I basically just got here and, well, you barely know me.
This is my job. I don't just look after the kids. Everyone that steps into the building is my responsibility. And that includes you.
Moon suddenly gets back up and walks over to the massive doors behind my desk. Where are you going?
Locking this place up. Whoever attacked you is still in the building.
What about the slide over here?
I can't leave you alone here to go deal with it. And bringing you with me is too risky.
I watch as Moon moves various objects in front of the door, from desk chairs to small play structures, basically anything decently heavy enough to barricade the door. Can't you just lock it?
Already did. But I'm not taking any chances.
Eventually, I'm able to stand up again and go over to the charging dock by my desk to recharge my flashlight. Star? Star?
I'm guessing you'd rather get out of your suit later, right?
Not in a rush to leave by myself, really. I live alone, so...
Oh. Still, you can't stay here forever. Well, if you want to keep going with the generators, just say the word.
Right. I removed my flashlight from the charging dock and sure enough, it works. I turn it on and point it back at the structures. Shall we? Moon nods and we waste no time finding the next generator. Thankfully, it works fine. It works just fine now. With that over with, we go back to the desk to turn the lights back on. Speaking of, I wonder how Sun's taking all of this. Moon did say they can both see and hear everything happening, even if they're not the ones piloting the robot body. I catch a glimpse of the time as I'm turning the lights back on. 2 a.m. The daycare is slowly lit up, and as usual, the music comes back on. Even with the cheerful music, the mood remains heavy as ever. However, I'm given no time to think as I'm spun back by a very worried son, frantically checking me for any injuries.
Oh my gosh! Are you sure you're okay? You poor thing! You must have been so scared! Oh, I'm sorry we weren't there sooner. If only we knew we would have...
Hey, it's already over. Son, it's already over. No use worrying about it now. I can feel Son's grip on my arms getting tighter. Not quite hurting me, but still concerning. Seems that didn't help much. With a hug. Hug him! But it's a bit of a reach considering how tall he is compared to me, even when kneeling. But I managed to wrap my arms around Son's torso, hoping that'll calm him down. Son doesn't say anything, but instead hugs me back. His eternal fan's getting much louder. He has one arm around my torso and one hand softly holding the back of my head. A gentle hug. It feels safe. We say nothing for a few minutes. I was trying to calm him down, but honestly, this hug is a huge comfort for me too. No wonder they're trusted with kids. Even as an adult, I feel an odd sense of security around them. Considering what just happened, it feels nice. Question?
Huh.
What was Moon alerted to anyway?
Oh! A little boy snuck in to see Freddy again.
Is it Gregory? He seems irritated when he says that. Again?
Yeah, this isn't the first time the little rule breaker snuck in here.
Yeah, it's probably Gregory. Something tells me that security isn't as strict as you would think. Though, if a kid managed to sneak in more than once. But if he just wants to see Freddy, then I don't really see a problem with it. It's not like the kid's hurting anyone. And I doubt Freddy's gonna let him get into trouble. He seems almost playfully bitter. What did this kid even do? Maybe I should ask later, though. I have to keep going with the generators. I didn't get very far, though, but before I'm suddenly picked up by Son. What the? Where are we going? Son manages to carry me with one arm. using the other to move various other objects in front of the massive door.
Making sure no one's getting in here.
Can't you put me down, though? Can't you put me down, though?
No. After all that, there's no way I can leave you on your own now. What if that person finds you here and we're not around?
Son, we're in the same room. If that person somehow got in, I'm pretty sure you notice. Looking up at Son's face, I can notice a long cable lower from the ceiling and hook onto Son's back.
You heard Luke. We're not taking any chances.
We suddenly jerk upward, and I'm lifted into the air along with Son, albeit much faster and more recklessly than the moon. Hey, at least let me call Vanessa first. I don't think she even knows about that freak, since the staff bots didn't react at all.
Oh, gosh, you're right. Okay, but we're making it quick.
Sure thing. Sun suddenly changes directions in the air as we start heading back towards the desk. However, I think Sun tried dropping from this height way too early. So we basically start free falling towards the ball pit. Oh shit! Grab onto Sun. I'm just barely able to grab onto Sun before gravity takes me. We're both tangled in the cable though. Once again, we're stunned in silence. Just when I thought things were calming down, I feel my heart racing, going a mile a minute from the adrenaline, and Sun's eternal fans are on full blast. I keep clinging onto Sun for dear life, as we're slowly lowered into the ball pit. Clutching my chest with one hand and over my racing heart, I'm able to get out of the tangled mess pretty easily. Sun is clearly having a harder time though, just thrashing in the tangled cable. Sun, chill out. Let me get you out of that.
No, thanks. I'm fine. I can get out myself.
And the visual of Sundrop just wiggling around trying to loosen himself from the cable. It sounds pretty funny to me. Anyway, I sigh, standing in silence for about a minute as Sun fails to get himself out. Sun finally stops, his faceplate drooping in defeat. Do you want my help now?
Fine.
Alright then, hold on for a second. Getting him out of the cable isn't hard. Once I'm done, I unhook the cable from his back and let it retreat into the ceiling. I give Sun a minute before I decide to speak again. I'm sorry, but that's just really funny though. You want to get out of the ball pit now?
Yeah.
I can't tell if he's upset or embarrassed at what just happened as we exit the ball pit and make the walk back to the desk.
That's kind of why I don't use the cable, funnily enough. I usually just leave it to Moon.
Fair enough. Oh, really? Actually, I kind of get it now. Not to diss you or anything, but Moon seemed to know what he was doing, I think.
Yeah, he has a lot more time to practice because of patrols, plus being active whenever the kids are sleeping.
So, he doesn't go free-falling and end up tangled in the cable?
Well, no, but I could do it just as well.
Not doubting that, you just need more time. Hey, I'm not doubting that at all. You just need more time to practice. You tried your best, so I can't really be mad. Although the timer option would have been hilarious, though. But Sundrop is one of my favorite characters in Security Breach. Or in all the... Or in the entire... Well, Sundrop and... Basically all three of the daycare attendants are in my top favorite Five Nights characters. Out of the entire series. Sun smiles sheepishly, his rays spinning a bit.
Well, I'm happy you think so.
How he manages to be this endearing is beyond me. He really is as sunny as his name. I can hold back a smile as I go pick up my phone up from the desk. Glancing back at Sun, I pull up Vanessa's contact on my phone and hold it out for Sun to take. You want to call Vanessa for me? I can work on the next generator in the meantime.
Yes, please.
Sun wastes no time grabbing the phone and calling Vanessa. I leave it to him. I leave him to it as I go to sort out the next mess of cables. Let's see. That's 1. That's 2. That's 3. And that's 4. Standing up straight, I stretch my arms over my head as I glance back at Sun on the phone. He has the device in front of him, probably in speaker mode, and seems concerned. Not that I was really paying attention to what he was just doing now.
There's no need for that. I'm sure you'll see what I mean if you look at the cameras. Maybe not right now, but whenever you have the time.
He's waving his other hand in front of him nervously. His rays have shrunk a little bit. What did Vanessa say to him? Sun glances over at me for a moment before Vanessa starts talking, and he sets his attention back on the phone.
If something really did happen, the staff box would let you know.
But what if they don't?
That could be possible. I believe it if it was just one bot, but there's no way that many of them would just stop working out of nowhere.
Well, what if they didn't think the person was dangerous?
Son, that's not possible. They're supposed to go on if they see someone that shouldn't be here.
Oh yeah, the vanning mask doesn't let animatronics see them.
Look, I don't want to completely overlook what you're saying, but what you're telling me just doesn't add up. I'll ask him about it later. I have to go check on it.
Well, going by ruin logic, none of the animatronics could see Vanny because of the mask. I wonder something about Mexis, MXES. Before his son can respond, Vanessa hangs up. His arms drop in defeat as I make my way over to him, and he hands me back the phone. She didn't believe you? Or are you okay? Sun forces a smile and waves his hands in front of him nonchalantly.
Yeah, fine. Just worried.
Yeah, no kidding.
She thought it was this weird bug we had a while back. That maybe it was making me see things that weren't there.
A bug?
It's a long story. But she thought maybe I was hallucinating a rabbit we used to have here. When I told her the person was dressed like a rabbit.
What? Oh, maybe he's talking about Bonnie.
Yep, I tried telling her that it wasn't real since you were there and...
There used to be a rabbit here?
Yeah. I don't know much about him other than his name was Bonnie. He was one of the Glamrocks. Yeah. The others don't really like to talk about it, so...
Yeah, especially not Freddy. Huh. I guess that's not some. I guess that's something else we can ask Vanessa about later.
Maybe.
Remembering what I'm supposed to be doing, I put my phone back in my pocket to go to the computer to shut off the lights for the third time. Halfway there. Glancing at the little digital clock on the corner of the screen, I kept a mental note of the time. 3 a.m. I sigh, not wasting any more time on turning the lights off, watching as the room dims around me, and my only source of light are the screens and the little charging station on the wall. Yawning, I step back from the computer. I know I have to hurry and get this done, but now that my adrenaline is starting to wear off, I don't know if I can. I sigh and glance back at Moon, who's giving me a knowing look.
Feeling tired.
Yeah. Probably a mix of the adrenaline and sugar starting to wear off, I think. Maybe I was hallucinating the rabbit after all. I smiled slightly at my joke. Moon, however, seems less than amused, giving me a deadpan stare. I clear my throat, reading the room and taking my flashlight back out. I take my flashlight out, making my way a few steps past the desk. However, when I look back at Moon, I notice a cable lowering behind him. He points his fingers at me as he stares, hovering off the ground.
Stay there. I'll be right back.
With that, he leaves, the cable allowing him to maneuver over the barriers of the daycare and disappear. Shrugging and lowering my flashlight, I stay put. Not like I was going anywhere anyway. I eventually decided to sit on the floor with my legs crossed and my chin resting on my palm. Since I have nothing better to do, I look around my surroundings. Several towers of stacked foam cans, a sparkling floor, and the large cutouts of the glam rock animatronics that decorate the place. For a place that's full of kids during the day, it's weirdly organized. Probably because of Sun. Did he say that he never left this place? And I can imagine keeping it looking nice is a big reason why. I can't help but feel kind of bad though. Sun and Moon's entire lives are in this daycare. I know they have each other, but I can't imagine spending all my time in such a small area. My train of thought is cut off when a pair of red eyes peer at me from beyond the barrier. I sigh, pushing myself back up. There you are, Moon. Are we gonna? A loud ring in hits my ears, and I jump, dropping my flashlight. What? Covering one of my ears with my hand. I try to pick it back up. A familiar red haze overlays my vision. Now with it now back in my hands, I pointed in the direction of the eyes. However, they disappear as quickly as they came. The noise from my ears fades into nothing but the subtle ambiance within the daycare. My arms drop to my sides. I hear a familiar sound of gears and robotics. When I look up, Moon is already re-entering the daycare. I'm not even sure if what I saw was real, or my mind playing tricks on me due to stress. Either way, I was trying to keep I try to take deep breaths to calm down my rapidly beating heart as Moon approaches me. The cable unhooking from his back and retreating back up.
I wanted to do a quick check around the daycare. Just to keep an eye on things. Also, I brought you this.
He gives me an open can of fizzy faz, and although reluctantly I take it. So, nothing out of the ordinary?
So far, no.
That's good. He stares at me for a moment as I take a long sip of the soda. Somehow, it tastes even sweeter than normal.
It's something happened while I was away. Your heart's racing.
Well, Moon's expression softens as he waits for me to answer. I was over here waiting for you to come back. And over there, I pointed to where I saw them, just past the barrier. I saw those red eyes. That was you at first, but when I started hearing that loud noise, Moon's eyes opened widened slightly. It was the same thing I heard when the rabbit lady attacked me, so Moon looked to where I was pointing. It takes a few steps towards it.
Did it look like she was trying to get in?
I don't know. She was just there. And right before you showed up, she just, vanished. I can hear Moon's internal fans getting louder.
Hopefully, that means she can't get in here.
Yeah, that would be nice.
The fact that she knows you're here isn't good, though.
You don't say. I take another long drink of soda, using my other hand to point my flashlight towards the structures. Shall we now? Moon tilts his head at me.
Shouldn't you give it a minute?
Why?
I don't think trying to work with this level of stress is
I'll be fine. I've managed the past 12 hours on like 10 minutes of sleep. I'll live.
I can't say I'm surprised. Don't tell anyone I said this. All in charge of this place are known to splurge.
Moon gives me a bewildered look, sighing in annoyance. Look, just let me deal with this one generator, and after that, sure, maybe I'll take it easy for a bit. Moon raises an eyebrow, clearly not entirely believing me. Promise. I begrudgingly give in for now. Moon sighs before nodding his head at the structure, motioning for me to follow him as he leads me to the next generator. I set the soda can on the ground by the structure before I follow Moon in. He plops down next to the generator, looking over at me. I nod, putting my flashlight down so I can test the generator. The machine's LED turns green as the mechanism comes roaring back to life. Good, no problems. I notice my hand holding the switch is shaking a bit, though. More than normal.
Something wrong.
What?
You're just staring at it.
Oh. Switching the generator back off and pick up my flashlight before making my way back out of the structure. After picking up the soda can I left on the ground, I wait for a moment for Moon to follow, lightly tapping my foot on the ground. Moon stands back up, albeit still slouching, and gives me a concerned look.
Are you sure you're alright?
Yeah. Why? Moon points my hand at my hand holding the flashlight. I didn't realize it, but I'm gripping the thing way tighter than I thought. I loosen my hold on it as I start walking back to the desk.
See why I told you to take a break now.
I rolled my eyes. Yeah. Anyway. Moon stays silent, leaning back against the desk as I put down the soda and turn on the lights. I mark my progress and turn my flashlight off, watching as Sen sits on the desk, lightly kicking his legs back and forth.
So, break time.
I sigh. I can't. I have to finish this.
Hey, you said you'd take a break after that one.
Sorry, but I can't keep dragging this out.
Come on, please.
I make my way to the cables on the floor, being extra careful as I go to sit down since my hands are still shaking. A lot. One.
No?
Start! What the? Sen suddenly grabs my wrist and practically drags me out of the wall. Away from the wall.
You're shaking. It's not safe to do that now.
Technically, he's not wrong. Heck, I'm practically vibrating. Are you sure that was a soda can and not an energy drink that Moon gave me? I know the sun's rays shrinking a lot, and he's avoiding eye contact. Son, what did you do?
Okay, maybe I wasn't so considering. I thought it would help.
He says it so fast his words start blending together, but I can still understand him. Seriously?
I'm sorry.
Son lets go of my wrist, staring at the ground like a kicked puppy. Uh-huh. I try to go back to the cables, only for Son to drag me over to the desk again. Son, really?
I know I messed up, but messing with cables and machines with shaky hands isn't safe.
I sigh. You really think so? Son stares at me for a second before nodding. I raise an eyebrow at him, but I decide to stop resisting. Alright, fine. Son doesn't say anything for a moment before suddenly picking me up. What?
1 second.
I notice the cable whirring. Not again. Son, no!
I'll be careful this time.
The cable lifts us off the ground, much more slowly this time. Okay, he isn't messing around this time. Since he's not rushing, the ride isn't nearly as reckless. We were only in the air for a few moments before Sun steps onto a small balcony that leads into the room. Okay, why are we here?
Just a precaution, that's all.
Sure. As if Vanna can't go through the daycare theater through the Foxy poster and get to the Sun and Moon's room. Taking a good look at the room behind us, it feels oddly lonely compared to the daycare. I don't know if Vanessa or Vanny knows about the room behind the daycare, the Superstar Theater. I don't know if she does. There's a small staircase leading into the space, which is only faintly illuminated by the bright fluorescent lights behind us. There's some fairy lights strung to the wall, but several of the bulbs are broken or dim. The floor is wooden and it looks like it hasn't been swept in ages. There are various random objects strewn around the floor. Plushies, stools, foam shapes, and other things. In the corner next to the small chair is a broken staff bot. Its body mangled and its head ripped off. I hear Sun give a nervous chuckle, clearly noticing me staring at his, well, less than colorful living space.
Welcome to my room.
Huh. For someone so happy, this place feels sad. I don't mean that as an insult or anything, just the vibe I'm getting.
No, I get that. Normally we don't get visitors. We're so busy, we never really considered it.
Huh.
Well,
Sun goes and plops down onto a single beanbag chair in the corner of the room.
whatever you want to do up here, feel free.
You okay? I look around a bit, seeing if anything in particular catches my eye. One corner is covered in various drawings, most likely from the kids Sun and Moon look after on a daily basis. There's also a few messy rag dolls and other little things made to look like them. Placed neatly on the small table. On the other corner, what appears to be a hole in the wall leads to another room. My eyes land on Sun again. The damaged staff bot rests on his lap as he tries to reattach his head. He doesn't even seem to notice me watching it at all. Seeing how careful he's being with it, makes me wonder how that bot got up here in the first place. Maybe I should leave that question for later. What's this? I point to the corner filled with drawings. Sun beams when he looks at it.
Those are all gifts from the kids. Mommy and I would give you each and every one of them.
Sun's head tilts, his fingers lightly tapping on the hardwood floor as he goes on about all the drawings the kids made, especially for him and Moon. Got any favorites? My eyes are directed towards a little felt plushie of Sun. The fact that it's handmade is evident, with the buttons for eyes and dried white glue all over the seams.
What Moon told you about the fun. I can't pick a favorite. I love all of them.
I stifle a laugh. That's sweet. Sun laughs nervously before he can say anything. The fairy lights give a brief flicker before dying out.
Oh, come on.
I just watch as they transform into Moon. Who seems surprised?
Those cheap lights are probably burned out.
Ah,
I can't say I'm surprised. Don't tell anyone I said this. All in charge of this place are known to splurge.
nah, I'm not arguing with you.
I will give them some credit, though. If it weren't for them being so stingy, I might not even be here right now.
What?
Remember that bug you were mentioning?
I nod, Moon leaning back in the chair for a bit, facing the ceiling.
If you want, I can tell you some things.
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't curious. It would definitely explain some things. Excuse me. Like how Moon got the red eyes and why the generators are in the play structures. I nod before dragging the small cushion a small cushion a bit closer to where Moon is and sit down.
Where do I start?
Well, is the bug the reason why they closed the daycare? I know the place was shut down for a while, but I didn't know why at the time, as that was a few months before I started working here. Moon nods.
It was a safety precaution. They needed time to fix whatever was wrong with me. So for a while, no one but the staff was allowed in here.
So the bug mainly affected you?
However, I would be lying if I said Sun wasn't affected at all. While the staff was using the generators and fuel, Sun was left on his own for a while. I won't go into detail, but can't imagine what it felt like for him. Sun would go weeks without seeing him, while still having me deal with.
He sighs, arms spreading out on the floor as he stares at the ceiling.
I should have lied as the bug eyes did.
Well, that certainly clears some things up. But it still doesn't answer anything. I still have no idea exactly what the bug did to Moon. But from what I can tell, it sounds pretty bad. That and how the bug came about in the first place is still a mystery to me. Maybe now isn't the time to ask. Well, you weren't in control of yourself, right?
No, I wasn't.
But then stop being so hard on yourself. I'd say you have more than... I say you're more than making up for it now. And I think Sun agrees with me.
Yeah, he does.
Exactly. A small smile creeps onto Moon's face as he sits up.
If only the rest of the staff were just as nice. How are you feeling now?
What?
Is all the extra sugar starting to wear off?
I completely forgot about that, even though that's why we're up here in the first place. I stopped shaking, which is definitely a good sign. Yeah, I think so.
Alright then.
Moon gets up and walks to the balcony as the cable lowers to his level. Yeah, one sec. Checking my phone for the time and any new notifications, I push myself off the floor, one hand on the curtain-covered wall for support. However, I feel something stick to my palm when I pull it away. Peeling it off with my other hand, I realize it's a piece of paper that's slightly been taped to the wall. It catches my eye. What catches my eye, though, is one word written on the back in bold black letters. Missing. I didn't get a good look at the small poster before Moon's voice snaps me out of it. Yeah? I quickly cover up the poster with the curtain before speed walking to Moon. The lights from the daycare shine onto the balcony because Moon transforms back into Sun, who waves at me. I pick up the pace a bit, going to stand next to him. Wasting no time, Sun picks me up and brings me down to the desk. My mind wanders back to the poster. The only other detail I got was the victim is 7 years old. Just a kid.
So, what do you think?
Huh?
Of what Moon told you about the bug?
Oh. It must have been hard for you both. I think it must have been really hard for you two. Since Moon wasn't in control of himself, and you were basically isolated in here for what? Weeks? Sun sighs as we walk to the desk, unhooking the cable from his back.
I don't really like thinking about it, but yeah. It does make me appreciate how things are now, though. It also makes me appreciate having Mooney around, too. Not having her around for that long was not fun.
I shrug. Hey, I'd say you two at least learn from something from it. Not that it completely cancels it out, but you know. Sun smiles, nodding brightly as usual. I sigh, glancing at the remaining cables. I take my phone out of my pocket to check the time quickly. 5 a.m. Well, I'm officially pulling an all-nighter. Nothing I'm unfamiliar with. And my throat's starting to hurt from all this talking. There's 6 cables this time. I stay seated on the floor for a minute, stretching my arms above my head as I lay down on the cold, hard tile. Sleeping in that chair definitely didn't do my back any favors. I closed my eyes for a minute to block out the fluorescent lights pouring into my eyes. Not that it really helps. Hints of orange and yellow managed to break through though. I stay like that for a minute until something blocks out the light. Opening them, I see Sun standing over me, hands in his knees.
Are you okay?
I toss my arm over my eyes. Yeah, all good.
Need a hand.
I hear his footsteps as he moves around me. Get a good enough sign to peek out from under my arm as any. Sun's giving me his outstretched hand. Breathing out a laugh, I set my arm beside me and use my other to grab his. He smiles brightly as he pulls me up, putting his other hand on my shoulder for balance. Thanks.
No problem.
Sun gives me a pat on the shoulder before starting to walk back to the desk. I'm about to follow him, but I stop when I notice something. A few handprints on his back, along with bits of what I'm assuming is paint and marker ink. Sun?
Yes.
Is that paint on your back?
Oh, that's nothing. You know how kids are.
Sun laughs bashfully, waving his hand. Well, yeah, I figured. Does the maintenance staff help you with that at least? All he does is fidget with his hands, eyes towards the computer. That answers it. Eyebrows furrowed. I follow Sun back to the desk. The staff can't really be bothered, huh?
Huh?
I lean over the desk, resting both arms on it as I look up at him. I don't know, the way you talked about the staff here, do they really care that little about you and Moon? Sun shrugs, trying to keep up the mood up.
Well, we're not for everyone. Some don't mind
Uh-huh. So, are you sure it's fine? Sun nods, the bells on his wrist emanating a soft chime as he gives me a double thumbs up. You think whoever's at parts and service would be on top of things?
Well, I'm sure they're busy. There's no need to bother them.
Every part of Sun's body is giving off a different signal. His hands wave everything off. His rays shrink back, and the smile he wears seems forced. Something wrong?
No.
I blink. Sun clearly knows I'm not convinced.
Just, they're busy enough as is. Wouldn't want them worrying about us.
Is this about the bug? Sun staring at the floor, one hand fidgeting with the ribbons around his wrist. He nods. Well, you want to talk about it? If not, it's...
No. We already let you in on it. It's only fair that I tell you some things too, right?
If you insist.
Well, while the daycare was closed, we weren't really seeing anyone. And of course, the staff didn't stick around long when they had to come in here. They only stopped by to install the generators and make sure they were working. To keep Moon away. And I heard some of them talking once. One of them asked if you really needed to keep both of us around after.
Oh. So that's why he doesn't like parts and service. He's so worried that they were going to get rid of Moon.
Everything's fine now. I know that. I still can't help but worry, though. I don't know if I can handle being alone here.
Moon did mention Sun being isolated for a while. But if the staff did all that just to keep Moon at bay... Huh. If you don't mind me asking, what exactly did Moon do? Sun looks at me silent. Just curious, since apparently the staff had to go through all those lengths just to keep him out. It couldn't have been that bad, right? Can't help but wonder, you know. Sun slightly hugs himself as he looks towards the computer.
Maybe it would be better if Moon is,
I follow his gaze, the computer screen sitting idly, waiting for me to issue the usual command. I guess. Maybe I should try steering this conversation back on track. So, how do you feel about things now? How things are now? I fidget with the scroll button on the computer mouse. Glancing at the time, we're almost halfway through the hour. Didn't think my shift would include this much talking. At least this makes my job more interesting than sorting cables in silence.
I can definitely say I like how things are. It feels nice knowing everything is mostly back to normal.
That's good, at least. Sun silently grabs my shoulders and forces me to face the computer.
Keep going, then. I don't want to keep you from your responsibilities for too long.
Fair enough. I look back at the time and sigh as Sun sits on the desk. Oh, for sake. I would have inhaled a whole bottle of melatonin pills if I knew I'd be up this late. Sun seems to do a double take, pointing at me like he wants to say something before backing off. What?
Language!
I raise an eyebrow, cackling at the sight of cracking a slight smile at his antics. Son, I'm an adult. There's no one around.
I know. Just force of habit.
We snicker at that. Not even when he's not working, he has a filter. That's cute. That's kinda cute. Son says nothing for a moment, his rays spinning as he sits cross-legged on the desk.
No, what?
I shrug, checking my phone for any notifications. Just the fact that you don't cuss is all. At all. You definitely could. It's not like you get in trouble for it. But you just, well, don't.
Well, I have to. I'd rather that than having risk saying something bad in front of the kids out of habit.
How about Moon? Does he have a 24-hour filter?
Well, I think the bug affected his filters a bit, so...
Yeah, I don't really like cussing either. I try not to do it.
It's not fun.
Kinda is. Son suddenly puts both hands on either side of my head before gently making me turn to face the computer before letting go. I roll my eyes, once cracking a smile at his antics. Alright. I see you in the bit. The usual lights out, moon's out, sitting cross-legged on the desk.
Drop
So, about that filter.
it. Yes, I can say fuck. What about it?
I blink, not expecting that. Or at least not expecting him to do that so soon. Nothing. I step away from the desk, feeling a headache coming on when I start walking towards the play structures. Thankfully, it feels like a normal. I only slept for 10 minutes headache, not the weird rabbit lady's about to kill me headache. Never did I think I'd be happy for my headaches to be from lack of sleep, as if this night couldn't get any weirder. Moon hops off the desk and catches up with me. Honestly, I think I deserve workers' comp for this. Because I'm definitely not getting paid enough to barely survive being murdered by a woman in a rabbit onesie.
Don't joke like that.
Shh, I'm coping. Moving on.
Bad sign. You'd be lucky if they even believed you.
Moon makes a gesture asking me to follow him. I tag along with it as he guides me towards the fourth generator.
Not that it's your fault. There's no way you would go. Urgent. Again, don't tell anyone I said that. I'm not trying to get scrapped anytime soon.
Yeah, good plan. I can finally see the red light of the next generator behind the frame of the center structure. Just one more after this and I'm home free. One more and I get to leave. I'll leave not knowing when or if I'll ever see these two again. Might as well get any questions out of the way now. Hey, random question. The staff put these generators to deal with you, right? Moon says nothing for a bit. Doesn't even look at me as we make our way up the structure. He nods. Really hoping that this doesn't upset him. What happened exactly? Like, what did you even do? couldn't have been that bad, right? Silence. Moon stops. I also stop, remaining a few feet away. I wait for him to say something. Anything. Moon? Nothing. He keeps his back turned to me.
It's better if I don't say.
What? Moon, it couldn't have been that bad.
And if it was,
I can't find a response for that. But if it really was as bad as he says... No, there's no way. I mean, you did say you had no control when...
drop it. I'd rather not think about it. Not now.
Can I at least ask why?
I don't like talking about it.
I keep quiet as Moon continues guiding me. My mind wanders back to the poster I saw in his room. I'm hoping I'm just overthinking this. The poster being there is just an unfortunate coincidence. However, my thoughts are cut off when Moon suddenly turns and sits right next to the generator.
You're okay.
Excuse me. I nod, shuffling over and flip the switch, listening to whatever motors and mechanisms are inside power is on as the LED light flicks to green. 4 down, 1 to go. I turn off the generator as Moon makes the head start back out. I scramble to follow him. Moon head straight, stands up straight, laying out what sounds like a sigh as he stretches his arms above his head. For a moment, I'm reminded how tall he and Sun actually are. He just goes right back to his usual slouching stance. Moon notices me looking and tilts his head slightly.
What?
Man, you're tall. Moon looks at me confused, like if I just asked if the sky is orange.
That's it.
Well, yeah, I didn't really think about it until now, but you're built like a whole giraffe. Moon snickers at my comment. I'm leaning back against the structure behind us.
Should I take that as a compliment?
Yes, absolutely. Imagine all the potential tall jokes.
Seriously?
Listen, I'm not... I like sun drop and moon drop, but not in a romantic way. In a way where I just want to hang out with the goobers. Just like with Papyrus from Undertale. He's shaking his head, but the smile tells a whole different story. Yes, giraffe, seriously.
Don't call me that, I'll punch you.
Okay, Moon Man. I'm sure if Moon could roll his eyes, he would be right now. The smile doesn't leave his face as he leads me back to the desk, though. Of course, I follow him back, stopping at the computer.
Last one.
I know. Last one. It feels weird. Kind of weird knowing it's almost over. Earlier, it felt like I was making no progress, and now I'm about ready to leave for the night. Glancing at the clock, it reads 6 a.m. With my hand on the mouse, I stare at the screen with the option to turn the lights back on. Maybe it's just paranoia over something bad happening when I step out the door, But part of me just doesn't want to leave yet. Although I already know I can't stay forever. I guess Moon caught me staring into space, though, as he waves a hand in front of my face. I blink, snapping back to reality. Oh, there goes gravity. Huh?
You look like you were spacing out.
Oh, well, you'd be right about that. We stand in silence for a minute before Moon speaks again. Yeah?
Do you think we'll see each other again after this?
I don't know what I can say to that. I don't make those decisions, but considering how kind Sun and Moon have been to me, it would have been nice to see them more often. Actually, thinking about it makes me remember something else. Well, I don't make those choices here, but I know the glam rocks all have their designated mechanics. I barely noticed Moon's expression brighten slightly. Maybe if I can get some more time here, I could ask about that.
If it helps, Sonny and I could put in a good word for you.
That would definitely help, thanks. I look back at the screen, feeling a bit of new motivation. Ready? Moon nods. I turn the lights back on, wasting no time to get the last few cables that I need sorting. Oh, there are 8 cables now. And 8. Before I can even move, Sun picks me up and places me on my 2 feet himself. Looking up, I can see him smiling down at me, his hand on my shoulders. Hey, Sun.
Hello.
So, what do you think of my little designated mechanic idea?
It's a great idea. But until then, please stop by whenever you can, okay?
Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Sun's expression brightens, his rays retracting and expanding in what I think is safe to describe as joy. We both stand in silence for a moment, and I glance back at the computer. All I have left is to turn the lights off, test the last generator, and then I'm home free. I think Sun notices my gaze as he lets go of my shoulder and slightly nudges me to the computer.
Go on. I'm sure you want to go home, right?
I shrug. Would it be nice to go pass out for a few hours? Would it be nice to go pass out for a few hours? What about you, though?
Well, I won't be leaving anytime soon. I still have plenty to do to prepare for tomorrow when we reopen.
That makes sense. I decided to quit stalling and turn off the lights for the last time. Sun standing behind me as I do so. As usual, the daycare is cloaked in the adjoining ambience. I can clearly hear the attendance mechanism behind me as Sun transforms into Moon again. You ready? Moon nods, already walking ahead.
So now a question.
Hmm?
Would you mind if we locked you out of here? Just in case that person is still around somewhere.
As I follow him, I get flashbacks to just a few hours ago. Yeah, I'd appreciate that. Thanks.
It's the least we can do.
The last generator is at ground level, so it doesn't take long for us to find it. I still have to tell Vanessa about that whole thing later, too.
It's true.
Whenever I come back here, I'll keep you and Son updated. Scooting over to the generator, I flip the switch. To my absolute surprise, it works. After switching it off, Moon and I exit the structure in silence. So, this is it, huh? Moon nods as he walks back to the desk. I follow. I look at the computer screen before glancing back at Moon. Ignoring the computer for now, I wrap my arms around Moon's torso in a tight hug. He freezes for a moment, most likely not expecting it. He eventually hugs me back, though, gently placing his hands on my back. We stay like this for a moment. I'm practically leaning on him, and I feel his hands lightly gripping the back of my shirt. I do let go eventually, though, and smiling up at Moon as I'm about to turn the lights on. Moon smiles back, arms crossed. My hand on the computer mouse, I glance back at Moon for the last time tonight. See ya, Moon. Moon smiles slightly. His head tilted a bit.
Goodbye.
The daycare is lit up again, and I watch as Moon transforms into Sun. Not a word leaves his mouth. So, ready to head out? He shrugs, fidgeting with his hands.
I guess this will be my first time out of daycare, which is exciting.
Yep. I go to pick up my stuff and make sure I'm not forgetting anything as I walk to the door next to the desk. Sun goes ahead and moves some of the makeshift barricade away. I gesture for him to follow me before I push the button on the wall, taking a few steps back while the door opens. We're making our way to a nearby staff-only room. Then I glance back at Sun, who seems almost mesmerized at our surroundings. I can't blame him. He's never been able to see the rest of the Pizzaplex, though, through his own eyes until now. The staff-only room is pretty mundane, but Sun is lighting up at every detail. He seems to snap out of it once we reach the exit, though. His eyes are back to the door, and he's back to fidgeting with his hands. Dropping my stuff on the floor, I charge at Sun with a hug, making him stumble back a bit. He seems almost stunned for a moment before picking me up and squeezing me back, laughing. I lightly kick my feet back and forth in the air, just savoring the moment before I have to leave. Sun steps ahead of me to open the door. The nearly empty parking lot waiting outside. Thanks, Sun.
No problem.
After taking a few steps outside, I look at him, waving my free hand. He waves back, energetic as ever.
Goodbye.
Bye. I continue to walk to my car, hearing the door close behind me and the faint sound of bells slowly fade away. I get to my car without any problems, placing my belongings on the passenger seat before starting the engine. I can feel a small headache coming back on as I back out of my spot, but I'm sure it's nothing from some sleep won't fix. As I'm leaving, though, I notice something in my rearview mirror, or at least I think I do. When I look there, there's nothing unusual. Maybe I'm overthinking this. I decided to go back home before I passed out behind the wheel. So I keep my eyes on the road, leaving the pizza pucks behind me for the night. I'm missing like 4 of the pictures. And I think these two are the fanon version of Eclipse. Before we met the cinnamon roll in Ruin. Warning, warning, child in danger. Safety mode active. You know that one. And I think with that, I'm gonna end the video here because my throat is getting really sore and I've been talking for like maybe 2 hours now. Alright, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one. Alright, bye.